Normally, I struggle to actually make these 10 things to make better, because where the films are so good, I end up seriously nitpicking. But not this week. In fact, I found this film too difficult to actually narrow it down to 10. So here are the 10 that I've picked. The Last Airbender is a 2010 American action-adventure fantasy film, written, co-produced and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, and it's based upon the first season of the Nickelodeon animated TV series Avatar: The Last Airbender. The film tells the story of Aang after he's been released from an iceberg after 100 years, finding out his world has changed and there's a great big war on it, so he has to go and learn how to master the other elements to try and save the world. The film was universally panned by audiences, critics and fans of the original animated series upon its release, and is widely considered one of the worst films ever made. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, 10 things that can make this film better, and believe me, it's not that easy to narrow it to 10. Number 10, film title. So I'm going to start off with this list with something that's not the film's fault, but could have helped make the film that incy-wincy tiny little bit better, and that was changing the name of the film. The film was based on Avatar: The Last Airbender, and when the film came out it was just called The Last Airbender. Now the reason for it is because James Cameron's Avatar was also coming out around about the same time, and they didn't want a clash. Even though that clash has happened before, because we had two Robin Hood films out at the same time. You had Robin Hood and Robin Hood Prince of Thieves. Unfortunately, no one actually knows about Robin Hood, and that's supposed to be the better of the two films. But yeah, I think having the same name to this TV series would have helped this film a little bit. It wouldn't have saved the film, but it would have helped a little bit. Number 9, castings. So one thing that was awesome about the TV series was the diversity of races on the TV show. Everyone was represented one way or another. Yet the film was very whitewashed. I mean, Aang, and I'm going to call him Aang because that's how he was called in the film, and I'll get onto that later, but Aang was Caucasian, but he was more of a Tibetan monk in the TV series. Sokka and Katara, same again, we'll get onto that later, they were, and I apologise if I offend anyone, they were Eskimos. I don't know the actual proper terminology, what they're really called, but that's what they were in the TV series. They were Caucasian as well. Did the people who made this film watch the TV show? The bad guys, the Fire Nation, were predominantly like Asian. They were Indian in this. The Earthbenders were predominantly the Caucasians one. There was a lot of Asian influences in them, but predominantly they were what we are, Caucasians, and they were the Asian ones, and they were the downtrodden ones. This film was whitewashing at its best, or worst, whatever you want to call it. And I know that was picked up at the time, and it's a valid point. Now, before anyone, actually no one will come up with this argument saying, but maybe they got the actors and actresses that were better suited for the roles. I'd say rubbish, because the acting was appalling in this film. Now, I know the actress who played Katara has gone on to some bigger and better things, and she's improved, but she was very, in this film. Sokka, same again, was very wooden, and don't get me started on Aang. The acting in this film was appalling. The only person I feel sorry for is Dev Patel. He's come off the back of an Oscar-winning Slumdog Millionaire and ended up in this film, which has not really helped his career. I can't say anything nice about the casting. Normally I'll say this person was good, this person was good. No, this film had the wrong casting and appalling actors and actresses. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it as that. Number 8, names. So as I said in the previous entry, the main character was Aang, except he wasn't. He was supposed to be called Aang. But yeah, why did they call him Aang in this film? I get the impression that M. Night Shyamalan did not watch a single episode. He read the scripts and that's what he went by, and he missed everything. But it just wasn't Aang. Even his title, Avatar, was wrong. It was called Avatar. What? What? They didn't even say Avatar in the James Cameron film. They didn't say it in the TV series. So why say it in this film? Doesn't make sense. Sokka was called Sokka. Iroh. I mean, come on here. Watch what you're making. Don't just read the script or read the storylines. Watch the actual TV show. A lot of these mistakes in this film could have been solved by watching the TV show. It's a brilliant TV show, and you've not watched it. Number 7, characterizations. Once again, something that's cropped up is the characterizations of the characters. Something that could have been solved if they had watched the TV series. You can't tell me they have, because a lot of this is nothing like the TV series, and that's the characterizations. I'm going to go through a few examples, but believe me, I could go through every single character, but I'm not, because I don't want to make this video 2 hours long. But let's start off with the main character, Aang. I'm still struggling to call him that, but Aang. In the TV series, Aang, yes, he was scared of his responsibility of what he's got to do, what he's got to accomplish. But one thing they kept all the way through was his childness, all the way through. Even in the 3rd series, after he has lost his ability to get to this avatar state, he's been kicked down, he's nearly been killed, and yet that childness is still there, which is brilliant. That's what makes the show. Yeah, in the film, he's just scared of his responsibility. I don't get the sense of that childness. And that's what makes the TV series brilliant. Sokka, or Sokka, and I'm not editing that because that was on purpose. He was sarcastic, something I can get along with. I'm a very sarcastic person. But in the film, that sarcasm was gone. He was very boring. And same again, Katara, she was very overbearing, mothering. Everyone appreciated it, even though it was annoying, but they appreciated her. Whereas this, there was none of that. It was awful. Even Zuko. Zuko had this massive, impressive story arc over all 3 series. Start off, he was the ultimate bad guy, and he didn't start doing the change until the 2nd series. But they started putting the doubt and his story arc in the 1st series. It wouldn't have made sense. You would have wrapped his story up in the 2nd film, but no, you did all that. Why? It doesn't make sense. You have ruined everything that is good about these characters, and you have failed to translate it onto the big screen. I don't know why. I could have done a better job, and I'm not a filmmaker. I'm an amateur nitpicking YouTuber. Number 6, missing story elements. So another thing they've actually got wrong is they've knocked out and missed out some huge chunks of what happens in the 1st series onto the film. Now, I do understand that they've got 24 episodes to narrow down into a 2-hour film, but some things they should not have missed. Kyoshi Warriors. Now, I'll be honest, when I was watching this with my family, my girlfriend's daughter was looking forward to seeing the Kyoshi Warriors in real life on a live action thing. They were missed out. Yet they're going to be so important. They have massive roles in the 2nd and 3rd series, yet they didn't get introduced in this film, and they should have been. Another thing they missed out was the pirates. Something that was very important. Yes, I can sort of see the argument about why they weren't in the 1st series, because they weren't in later on, but they were a huge, massive part of it. A lot that happened in the final battle, which I will come across later in this video, was missing. But you can't miss some of these things. Some of these things are so important later on. And that was the whole beauty of the TV series. Something that you thought was so insignificant in the 1st series was something so important later on in the 2nd and 3rd series. Prime example, Jet. He had a 1 episode. He was scripted as a 1 episode bad guy, and that was it. Yet he had a major, and I mean major, importance in the 2nd series. Yet you missed it. Why? Same again, you have not watched it. This is, if you're going to make a film of the 1st series, you need to watch all of it so you don't miss it. You cannot, and I'm going to keep on this, the creators of this film have not watched the TV series, and I know I'll keep badgering on, but you can tell, and that's why this film fails so badly. You missed the heart and soul of the series. Number 5, pacing. So, this film, as I said in the previous entry, it's got to put 20 plus episodes into a 2-hour film. And I understand that's not going to be an easy thing to do. However, what they have done is they have actually put the first 20 episodes in 50 minutes. And then the last 2 episodes in the last 50 minutes of the film. Seriously, the actual final battle, what happens at the North Pole, actually took longer in the film than it did in the TV series, and yet the TV series was more in depth than this. What? This is another reason why the film failed. They were just rushing, trying to get to that final battle, so you missed out on all the team building, all the story building, all the world building, just to get to this battle. And as a result of it, the battle is flat because you've missed so much out of that battle, it didn't make sense. Which is a shame, because the battle at the North Pole was brilliant in the TV series. Yeah, it was just in the film, really. Number 4, firebending. Something they changed quite drastically from the TV series to the film was how firebenders worked. Now, before I get into what I mean, I'm going to give a science lesson. So we're going to have science with Berryman. In the Berry Telly, we have a fire triangle, which actually says you only need 3 things for a fire, and they are oxygen, fuel, and heat. Now, if those 3 actually combine together, you get a chemical reaction which creates flames and fire. That's how it works. Now, in a TV series, in a fantasy TV series, disbelief can go out the window slightly, and yes, the firebenders have the ability to make fire out of nothing, which was cool because it's what made their threats. However, in the film, they couldn't do that. They could only manipulate fire. They couldn't exactly create it, which begs the belief, how do they become that powerful? Because all the waterbenders have to do is just put out their fires, that's it, they're done. They've lost. But you've added a massive weakness, whereas in the cartoon series, you got that impressive threat. Only Iroh could actually make fire, which was impressive, but that wasn't his main thing in the TV series. Why change something that was so cool and make it so obvious that these guys are actually kind of weak? Number 3, bending moves. So yes, something else they changed from the TV series to the film was how they bended. Now in the TV series it was quite quick, and it actually looks quite impressive, and it looked like they were doing what they were bending. So they were doing this to make the water move, or they were doing that to shoot fire. But in the film it was more of a dance routine, and it was so long. You'd think, what the hell's the point? They're doing all this lot. You can throw a rock into their head, put them off, they're out. Same again, bending in the film was not as impressive as it was in a cartoon TV show, which is wrong. You should be able to make something look gorgeous on the big screen, not be inferior to a cartoon. Please don't include my videos on this. I don't have a multi-million-pound budget. Number 2, showing the Fire Lord. Something the TV series did absolutely fantastically was how they portrayed the Fire Lord, who was portrayed brilliantly by Mark Hamill. However, they did it brilliantly, the film did not. Let me explain. In the TV series, you never actually saw the Fire Lord until the 3rd series. You only saw shadows, you only saw his silhouette or a brief bit of his face, but you never actually saw the Fire Lord, which was brilliant. You kept him in the background the whole time, just like how Star Wars did it. You didn't see the Emperor in the first film, but you knew he was the bad guy. You briefly, and I mean briefly, saw him in the 2nd film, and he made his full appearance in the 3rd film. Brilliant storytelling. That is exactly how it's supposed to be done. However, they showed the Fire Lord halfway through the 1st film. This is the overall bad guy. Aang won't meet him until the 3rd film, which is never going to happen. So you could have actually just done the same thing, just keep like down here. That's all you had to show. But no, you showed everything. And the annoying thing is, his 2nd appearance in the film, they actually did it properly. They had the camera behind him while he was sat on his throne. Why couldn't you do that all the way through the film? That would have actually added that bit of suspense. But no, you just went and ruined the ultimate bad guy that could have been your saving grace if you ever got to a 3rd film. Number 1, the Avatar state. Something they got amazingly perfect in the TV show was the Avatar state. You actually got to feel the full raw power. And not only that, you actually knew Aang couldn't control it. As the TV series went on over all 3 series, he actually started gradually learning control of the Avatar state. But the 1st series, he had no control over it. In fact, so much so he was scared of using Avatar state. Something that was a story in the 2nd series. but that didn't portray into the film. He only ever used the avatar state once, and that was at the end of the film, and he had full control of it, which sort of ruins a lot of the second series and why he was scared of it. Don't get me wrong, that they missed the big fish in the end fight as well, when he was in the avatar state, but that's a different story. But yeah, why can a TV series, a cartoon TV series with a minimal budget, do a better version than a big blockbuster movie? I mean, I loved the Avatar state in the TV series. As I said, that raw power, especially the first couple of times it appeared, you were thinking, wow. And it took a lot for him to actually come out of it because he had no control. Now, come the final battle, he had full control of it and he was amazing with the Avatar state. But in the film, no, he didn't have control. He had control of it. Why? Why? He's never used it before. Can you control a car the first time you get into a car? No, you have to have a few lessons first of all to know how to use it. Even with that raw power, you need training. But he sort of just went, done. Didn't like it. Final thoughts. So what do I really think of this film? Well, I think I've made my feelings quite clear that I'm not a big fan of this film, which is a shame because the first I ever got to know about The Last Airbender was this trailer playing behind me, and I loved the trailer. It was brilliant. It did what the trailer was supposed to do. It got me interested. Unfortunately, the film failed on that interest, but it did get me a love of the franchise. I loved the TV series. I loved The Legend of Korra, but the film, yeah, it was missing. It was missing the heart and soul. And as I said all the way through this video, that's because the writers, the directors, the makers didn't watch the TV series. And that is where the failure is. But the film does have its good points. Yes, it does. The film itself is very beautiful. The cinematography is fantastic. You can't deny how gorgeous the landscapes of this film look. It's brilliant. The special effects are absolutely top notch. And unfortunately, that's where the big flaw is. They've spent all this money on the location, the equipment, the special effects. They forgot about everything else. It's never a good thing when a TV series on a limited budget does better than a big budget film, and I've said that in this video as well. So what am I going to rank it? Well, for once, my entire family all agree with me on this ranking, and we all actually agree it gets 3, and that's because the film looks good. That's it. There's nothing else good about this film at all. But, as I said at the beginning, I have missed so much out. So what's the big annoyance to you about this film? Leave it in the comments below. I want to hear everyone else's. Let's see if we can get 100 things that can make this film better in the comments, because that would be awesome. But other than that, thank you very much for your time. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button, and please share with your friends. Also, hit me up on social networking at Berryman81. I'm all over the place now. I've forgotten where I am half the time. And on to next week. Well, this week I've done a cartoon series that was fantastic, that the heart and soul failed on the big screen. So let's do it again for next week. But any guesses? I will pin the correct answer if anyone gets it before the next video releases. So take a guess next week. But until then, next Sunday, bye bye.